Hey, what's up everybody? TJ and Carrie here with Muscle Growth Mindset. We're going to talk to you today about lactic acid. That's what's responsible for making you sore the next day, right Carrie?
Wrong.
That's a common misconception. A lot of people, and sadly I still hear it from trainers and coaches, they talk about that lactic acid buildup, that's what makes you sore the next day. Totally not the case.
Yeah.
So what is lactic acid then? If that's not what it is, what is it?
So lactic acid is a byproduct of breaking down glucose for energy.
What's that mean? In English, please.
Your body initially uses your ATP energy system for about the first 10 seconds or so of any exercise. Then it has to start using glucose. So it uses glucose to create ATP, and glucose is broken down into lactic acid.
And then when this happens, how does that relate to me? What is it that happens to me when I'm in the gym?
As lactic acid is built up, your body can use lactic acid for a lot of things, but it is an acid. So as it's built up and your body's trying to shovel it out, and if it can't do it fast enough, it builds up and you start feeling the burn from the acid.
So whenever we say feel the burn, that's what we're referring to. We're
Yes.
referring to the lactic acid buildup. So the longer you do a set, the more it burns. That's just more and more lactic acid buildup.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, right? Whenever we're talking about hypertrophy, building muscle, right?
Yes.
So there is a correlation between lactic acid and hypertrophy.
Right. So in biochemistry, a lot of times we don't fully understand the process. We can't put a lab inside your leg and watch as things are happening. So we see that if a lot of times
technically we can. We just need some volunteers that are willing to do biopsies throughout the workout.
Yeah.
So if you want to volunteer, let us know.
Until we get nanotechnology capable of doing that, what we see, we have to go, we see A and we get result Z, but we don't always understand B, C, D, E, the rest of the chain of reactions. So one of the interesting studies they found is there's something called McArdle's disease. And this is people who cannot produce lactic acid in response to exercise. And so they were testing these people with regular people in this test, and they noticed that they were not able to have what is called an exercise-induced growth hormone response. So when you produce lactic acid, you get they don't know exactly how, they don't know the mechanism, but you get a localized growth hormone response.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So growth hormone, we know, is responsible for, getting you lean, right? And it helps get you lean. So by what you're saying, you can, contrary to what everybody says, in our belief, you can spot reduce body fat?
Sort of. Now, yes, we say that you can't just work out your abs and get lean. That's true. You will get a little bit more leanness in a specific body part by working out that body part.
Okay.
What it's going to be more responsible for is causing hypertrophic growth in that area.
Okay. So yeah, we do have a direct correlation between lactic acid and hypertrophy. So the more you feel that burn, the longer you're in that state of burning, the more muscle you're building.
Correct.
Right? Okay. So that's a good example of that is powerlifting versus bodybuilding, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's what we call our lab. So we see that powerlifters do not get as big as bodybuilders. They get really strong and they get somewhat big muscles, but they don't have that growth hormone response because they don't do the high reps and get the lactic acid.
Yeah, you're not going to feel that lactic acid build up, that burn whenever you're doing 2-3 reps. It's something where you have to be in a sustained set that and get to that state, 8, 10, 12 reps, it starts to burn a little, 25, 30 reps, then you really start to burn. And that's a good place to be. Obviously every set can't be like that.
Right.
It's good if you can at some point throughout your workouts get to that threshold and try to maintain it as long as possible.
Yeah.
So, speaking of threshold, is there a point of diminishing returns? Like, is there something where it burns too much or too long where you could stop that growth hormone response or slow it down?
Yes, and as a bodybuilder, you're probably never going to get there. It's probably for a cyclist. They've found that if you reach the lactic threshold and stay there for about 10 minutes, that's when you maximize the response. You shouldn't do any further than that. Okay.
So if you can start burning and keep doing that set for 10 minutes after that burn, then you're good. You can stop. You did enough.
Good luck.
So there's your challenge for this week on leg
Yeah.
press. I've done some 2-3 minute sets on leg press that the burn is insane. So I couldn't imagine going 10 minutes.
No.
But we're gonna try it. Me and Carrie are gonna go do legs after this.
No.
No?
I want to walk tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of walk tomorrow, we said lactic acid isn't responsible for that burn or that soreness the next day.
Correct.
So if it's not lactic acid, what is it?
It is caused by micro tears in the muscle, and that would be inflammation by those micro tears.
Okay, so basically whenever we work out, we're tearing the muscle down, right? We're doing damage. So
We want to break it down
Yeah, and
so we
that's-
can build it back up stronger.
exactly, that's the goal. You tear it down, you sleep, you have proper nutrition, it rebuilds and gets back even bigger, stronger. Then you tear it down again. But that soreness has nothing to do with lactic acid. It's all about damage done, micro tears within the muscle.
Yeah.
So forget all that lactic acid soreness crap.
Yeah,
The only,
it's not
the only pain you get from lactic acid is within the workout during that burn. As soon as that burn stops, lactic acid stops.
Yeah.
So what else we got here?
Well, lactic acid is turned into lactate. In fact, that's the base part of it. That's where it's no longer burning. The acid part has been removed. And it can be used as a quick form of energy. In fact, your heart likes to use lactate preferably over any other form of energy.
Okay, let's just clear up real quick. Lactate, like we're not talking about nursing mothers here.
Right.
Different lactate.
Yes. Lactate is the acid part removed from lactic acid. So,
Okay.
which is simply just a hydrogen atom. But while it's burning, while the hydrogen atom is still on there, that's the acid part. But by the time it's moving to other parts of your body, it's now lactate instead of lactic acid. It's no longer causing a burn.
Gotcha. So the burn, what you feel there is the lactic acid converting, turning into lactate, the hydrogen ion being removed.
Right. And so that causes the acid. It feels like someone's pouring acid on your muscle because that's what's happening.
That's what it should feel like. If
Yes.
you're not feeling like that, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a general understanding of lactic acid.
Mhm.
Any other high points we need to hit on? Or
So you also reconvert lactate into glucose in your liver in a process called gluconeogenesis, so your body can produce glucose inside the body without external source. One other thing is that it's a chemical reaction that involves water. So they have found that you get a lower concentration of growth hormone released in a low fluid state. So it's just another one of the reasons, and I'm sure we've talked about this on several different videos, especially the last one, the cortisol one. Definitely want to stay hydrated.
Yeah, we've talked about water a lot. It's the most important supplement you can take.
Yeah.
It's responsible for so many processes in the body. You have
Absolutely.
to have it. So stay hydrated. There is a correlation between hydration and growth hormone response.
Yep.
Right? So if you want this lactic acid to work like it's supposed to, you got to have water. So
Yep.
stay hydrated. All right. Well, hopefully that's cleared up a lot on the lactic acid debate here on what it is, what it does, how it works. If you guys have more questions about it, just put it in the comments. We'll do our best to answer it or find an answer if we don't know.
Yeah.
Until next time,
Yep. Remember, science, friends.
and don't forget rule number 1.
See you next time.